Donohue. I just have to double check that everything is working. It should be. No, it's not.
There we go. Now everything should be working. Um, Let me know in the comments if the audio is working. Let me know in the comments because listen, right now you may see we are recording live in a hotel room. Honestly, I'm getting now that I've started talking, I'm getting this very strange reverberation from the room. Can you guys let me know just before I get started exactly how good the audio quality is? Because I think the video is good. And I can tell because I can tell even from the video that I'm not looking great. Actually, you know what? I could honestly probably focus it in a little bit more. Let me just see this real quick. Boosh. Um okay, that's better. That's better. Now we just click out of this. All right, you know what? That's as good as we're going to get. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Danswers podcast. I am your host, Dan Donohue. We are currently live from a hotel in Kansas City where I will be performing tonight and tomorrow night. That's Friday and Saturday. I don't know the date. You figure that out. All right. I can't spoon feed you people everything. Next weekend, I am in Minneapolis, and then it is New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and then Seattle. I've been plugging my date, and then after that, we got Cleveland. I've been plugging my dates so much I have them off the top of my head. I'm sure you guys are tired of listening, but listen, we gotta kind of promote the dates. It's how I've been making money. We've invested a little bit of money into the advertising for these. So listen, I'm never gonna come up to you people and say I need to sell more tickets. Okay. I would never sound desperate like that. But let's say it would behoove me to sell more tickets. Behoove is a word that means if I don't, I will be broke. So that's what behoove means. In case you're not a scholar like me, welcome to the Dancers Podcast. I'm excited to be here because I didn't think I could set the podcast gear up. I didn't think I would be able to, but boy, do I have so many fun things to tell you about my trip here. I was uh I was in Los Angeles, LAX, which is short for Los Angeles Extreme Airport, because that's what happens is extreme things in the airport. You ever wait in line for 45 minutes to get a regular cup of coffee? That's pretty extreme. That's why it's LAX. And and I was in line, and there's a water bottle filling station, right? And we all love water. Sound off in the group chat if we're hydrating, cuz I want to know, cuz I've been very diligent about my hydration. I've been trying to stay on top of drinking enough water on flights, right? Because when you don't drink enough water, everything else in your life goes horribly. Everything in your life goes really, really bad. And it's funny because you don't see those things as being related. But as soon as you stop drinking water, you also start yelling at your friends. And that's straight. You don't want that. You don't want that. So I've been trying to stay hydrated. A woman in line at LAX, because this is a very specifically the specific thing about certain people in Los Angeles is oh, we got someone in the chat here. They say I'm working on hydrating, and we're proud of you. I want you to know we're all proud of you, Nat. Okay. Oh, this is actually about the RI shows, that's very important too. I'm working on hydrating. Listen, it's a work in progress. It's a work in. All right, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, sure, you could hydrate in a day. That's actually pretty easy. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day is starting to be used for things that can be done in a day. And I think that's pretty weird. You'll be like, hey, you should do your laundry. And they're like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's like, well, we're not building Rome here. We're putting your socks in two machines and then taking them out. All right, you're not Scipio. You're a guy who stinks. You might be Stinkio. Anyway, I'm in the line for the Nalgene bottle, and this woman in front of me in line has 4 different Nalgene bottles with her. 4 different big ones. And I got to say the flow of this thing is very slow. We're talking about maybe 3 minutes per Nalgene. Okay? And that doesn't stop her. She fills up and the line is huge. And here's my thing, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe I overthink things. I can't help but consider, what is this woman's life? What is her reality where she is willing to hold up the line like this for so long? Now, every bottle is for her family, right? She has 4 different family, and that I understand. All right, because if it weren't just her, it would be all 4 of her family members, and it takes as much time. Or is she just like a camel? Is she on some weird like water fast, which in Los Angeles is probably more likely? I was getting frustrated. I was getting mad. But then you know what? I said, what if I don't get mad? I said, what if I don't get frustrated? What if I breathe and accept that this person is just in a situation where they probably don't want to be. They probably don't want to be filling up all these water bottles. And I just took a moment of deep contemplation. And I said, okay, we're going to allow this woman to get her water in peace. And then the guy behind me was like, hey, hurry up. And I was like, that's awesome too. I was like, thank you, sir. That is awesome. I appreciate that. Anyway, let's get into the questions. We already got a few questions here, which is very good. What is your Roman Empire? This is a question that's been asked quite a bit to quite a few people. It's certainly not the Roman Empire, as I've said before. I got many text messages from women during the height of the Roman Empire conversation asking me how often I think about the Roman Empire, and the answer is not very often. I think more about the Nalgene bottle woman than I think about the Roman Empire. I'd like to think about it more just to reassert my masculinity in this world, right? I think that's important. I would like to be thinking about the Roman Empire more. I think very often about the career of Khabib Nurmagomedov, a UFC fighter. I think very often about Dan Reeder, musician Dan Reeder. There's a few things I think about a lot. They're not as historic as the Roman Empire, but I do appreciate those things. They make me feel good. Oh, here's a great question. What do you use on your hair? If I may, I would love to speak about my hair for a second, not to take too much time from you good people, but I'd like to speak about my hair. I recently on that same flight watched the movie Repo Man. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Repo Man. It's a great movie. It's very strange in a good way. There's a lot of weird stuff in it. It's older. It seemed to be relatively low budget, but I really, really liked the movie Repo Man. In Repo Man, there's a lot of very interesting hairstyles. I don't know exactly when it was made. I believe 80s or 90s, somewhere in that. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. The movie Repo Man has this woman lead. I'm not sure of her name, but she is like a woman who's kind of a bad guy. She's robbing stores with these other 2 guys, and she has this sort of a mohawk, sort of a mullet, but the sides are like completely bald. And I saw that and I was obsessed with it. I took pictures of it and I sent it to my friends. You ever have like a manic episode where you're like, I'm going to do the craziest thing with my hair of all time? There was just a 30-minute period where I was like, I'm going to go nuts with my hair because I need to feel something. And I sent the picture to my friends, and all of my friends, and this is how you know you have good friends, they all said, dear God, no. It wasn't like, well, maybe that would look cute. well, maybe that. Oh, maybe sleep on it. No, they were like, if you get this. Oh, 1984. Thank you so much. 1984. They were like, if you get this, we will not hang out with you anymore. And some people might think that's harsh. I think that's friendship. I think that's a buddy looking out for you. I think that's a group of people consolidating towards your best interests, even though sometimes kindness doesn't seem nice. Okay? Sometimes kindness doesn't seem nice. That doesn't make it less kind. I think those people are great. But as far as the question, what do I do with my hair? Almost nothing, nearly nothing, close to nothing. I will wash it from time to time, but I think as you guys can tell probably by looking at it, that doesn't even get done all the time. That's amazing. Right now, it looks very unwashed. In fact, I was walking around Kansas City, and which it must just be the place that I'm staying, but boy, it seems like a flat 2.5-mile radius outdoor mall where I'm staying, and that makes me feel crazy. It makes me feel like everywhere I walk, because I'm not, I got to save the Uber money because I have to Uber to the club and back tonight. So I'm just walking with my big travel backpack. I have a big travel carry-on backpack that I use to transport equipment, and I'm walking around Kansas City, and people are looking at me. I don't know what's there's something I'm throwing out there that I think people around here aren't picking up on. I think I'm giving off maybe some bad energy from what because everybody seems to be looking at me very strange here in Kansas City. And I don't know what my main issue is. I don't know what's going wrong. But oh, here we go. LA Comedy Life, who I believe is my friend Sam, said, "You look homeless. You look homeless." Well, I'm going to take that in. I'm going to breathe that in for a second. I'm going to inhale and exhale that. All right? Cuz you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. And maybe that was what these people were thinking when they looked at me. When you wear the big backpack, you might have a case, but also I think it had something to do with my hair. My hair looks really, really bad. I'm gonna wash it at the hotel, which my big fear about washing it at the hotel is that the shampoo is made with hydrogen peroxide, but it's got to be done. I got shows tonight. Oh, here's a good. Maybe it was just the IDGAF look, since everyone is always concerned about their appearance or how they appear to others. I have to say, an IDGAF look is a great way to tell someone they put no effort into their appearance. That I'm not belittling your comment. I actually really do appreciate it. An IDGAF look. Throw some likes in the chat, because I'm gonna go ahead if you support us changing disheveled to an IDGAF look, because I think as we move towards positivity, as we move towards acceptance, I think an IDGAF look might be the perfect way of describing the way that I look. Okay, what about me? Where's my representation as a straight white guy who really has a very little obstacle in his life, but whenever someone makes fun of my appearance, I get a little sad? Where's my representation? Huh? Where is my representation? I wasn't going to say anything, but it looks a little greasy, Brenda said. Brenda, I'm glad you feel empowered right now. Brenda, I'm glad that you feel empowered to speak your truth. It is a little greasy. I'm going to be honest with you. It is, but you know what? You know what a greasy hair is? It's a possibility, all right? I see out here, you know what? It's so funny. I have the mullet and my thought was, "Oh, the mullet will be cool because when I come to a place like Kansas City, I'll look like a lot of the other guys here." Everyone here has like a crew cut. I don't maybe it's just what I've seen. Obviously, I'm just commenting on the things that I perceive, but everybody here has like just a complete just like crew cut. At best, it's kind of they look like even Drago, from Rocky. That seems to be popular out here. I haven't seen honestly a lot of mullets, but that's fine. Oh, uh, this is interesting. Disheveled describes someone that can't clean up. Like I'm disheveled after a week of camping. IDGAF look means making a conscious choice when I have a shower and clean clothes available to me. This is this is the style equivalent of the kid where you play pickup sports and you beat them and they're like, "I didn't even want to win." I didn't even I'm gonna take my ball and go home because I didn't even want to win. I wasn't even trying. No, I always do. I wish I looked better. I wish I looked presentable. I mean, that was part of the dream of getting the super high and tight haircut is I was like, maybe this would be easier to manage, but people would look at me and go, maybe that guy has style. Maybe that guy has panaz. Maybe that guy has a little zhuzh. That's what every guy really wants. We don't like to admit it, but every guy just wants a little zhuzh. Don't we, folks? Doesn't every guy, all right? And I'm talking to you fellas, all right? You walk out of the door, and I know you might be wearing New Balances. You might be wearing those Chubbies shorts. Those are pretty cool, right? And I know in the back of your head with your sneakers and jeans, that your straight cut jeans and your big dog t-shirt, you go, "Oh, I don't care what people think." You do. You do. As a guy, you feel pretty safe from judgment until a guy with style actually like walks by you. That's when because I like to try to convince myself, I don't care how I whatever. I don't care how I look. I don't do that with shows though. When I do stand up, I do try to wear at least like a collared shirt or something. But many times, many times, guys will walk around being like, "I don't care. I don't care." And then a guy with actual style walks by, a guy with like who looks cool with like whatever, a silk shirt or something that you didn't even know about. Sometimes that'll happen as a guy. You'll have another guy walk by in like clothes that you didn't even hear about because you're not reading about them. You don't know that you see a kind of shirt and you're like, I didn't even know that happened. Button down with no collar. Button down with no collar? Are you kidding me? Button down with no collar? Kind of like shit. This is the most intimidating thing to the world in the world to me. It's not like a big muscular guy, right? I know how that happens, right? Uh Eating in caloric excess, lifting weights regularly, and having like a lack of people hugging you. But there's a thing that does intimidate me. It's a guy with like like skinny guy, really cut jaw, shaved, sometimes even shaved head, but dressed really well. Brother, I see you. I'm leaving the damn building. That's an intimidating kind of fella. All right, that's an intimidating kind of fella to me personally. Oh, here's a good question. What kind of shoes are you wearing? I wear boots. I wear hiking boots. Doesn't help my case in this scenario. You know what? Let me show you. 1 second. Um I wear these. They're just kind of leather hiking boots. I would tell you what kind, but they ain't paying me yet. I don't gotta do free advertising. All right. And company, you know who you are. We got 39 people watching right now. Okay. We got 39 people. If everybody starts liking the video, that might bump up to 40. So just think about it. But yeah, always hiking boots. They're easy. They feel really comfortable. They make me feel seen. They make me feel beautiful. That's the funny thing about men's style is you see a guy and he's wearing like a Diamondbacks jersey and nice pants and maybe cool sneakers. Maybe he did get like a Jordans or Air Maxes or whatever. And that guy, I know he looks kind of schlubby to some people, but he feels beautiful. Okay? That's a man acting within his dude's rock power. All right? That man feels beautiful in that moment. All right, let's change gears here. Enough talking about fashion. What are your thoughts on Britney Spears's new memoir? I have not heard about this. I have not heard a single thing from it. But sometimes it's good to comment on things you have no knowledge on whatsoever. I think that is true. I think we're too fixated on things we know about, things we research, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I would like to speak about this. I know nothing about what's in Britney Spears' new memoir. I am excited for it though. I am excited. Here's why. I think we need celebrities in one way or another. It doesn't have to be like movie stars, but society from the dawn of time, like large society, has had their celebrities, whether it be warriors, generals, gladiators, artists, whatever. It's interesting. It keeps us compelled. It keeps us focused. It keeps us in a state of wonder, right? And I think whatever your opinion is on Britney Spears, you can admit that we need a memoir from someone who doesn't have a lot to gain from holding back. I don't know anything that's in this memoir. I would love for the chat to sound off if there's any fun things going on in the meme. I would like to know. But I really do think celebrity news, even if it is about something serious, always to me borders on gossip. Now, that doesn't mean that celebrity news can't point to bigger issues, like with the Britney Spears situation, the whole idea of the conservatorship, I believe the name is. It shed light on that system and how, sort of abhorrent a lot of the practices of a conservatorship is. I understand that, and I think that the Britney Spears situation opened people's eyes to that fact. However, I think there's a lot of things that is just celebrity gossip that we confuse as being big and important. And again, I know nothing about what is in this memoir, but I can't wait to figure it out. I can't wait. Oh, this is interesting. She talks about her relationship with Justin Timberlake, and he's getting a lot of backlash, so he turned off his comments on Instagram. Yeah. You know what? That's kind of what I figured. That's what I figured it would be, something along the lines of she said something about a high-profile person, Justin Timberlake, pretty high-profile guy, turned off his comments. Listen, let me say this about Britney Spears. Through all of it, her fans have stayed on her damn side. I would love to know how to garner the sort of support that Britney Spears has had in her. I am afraid, and this is true. I'm afraid to go a week without posting because I'm afraid people will forget about me. Britney Spears was forced out of the public light by an unfair conservatorship for years, minus, a few public appearances that were curated by those who locked her away. And people still had her back. People still had her damn back. I'll say that's kind of what I've gleaned from the situation, is that when the public eye really loves someone, when someone becomes this like big figure, we care about them for a long time. I think Britney Spears did have a big impact on society as a whole, and I do wonder, what with the death of the movie star, what with media becoming large and bifurcated in many ways, if we're gonna lose that. If we're gonna, because look how long we've stuck with Britney Spears. Look how long we've followed her. By the way, let me just speak about this. Let me know in the chat also if anyone here has understands what I mean when I say the death of the movie star, because I do want to speak about this. I watched a very good documentary about this, and basically it's the idea that movies and television, or no, specifically movies have become this very strange thing where you look at movies from, let's say, the 80s even. Rain Man. Great example. Let's look at Rain Man. Rain Man, fairly small budget movie, huge box office growth. But Rain Man wasn't some independent film, right? Rain Man was released in this very big way, in this very large scope. And in this documentary, they give the example as God, what's there was a movie about like a failing marriage. I forget the name of it, but it was treated much more as a small indie movie. And we have Marvel now. Marvel and like large box office action movies that are generally recurring, that are generally replaceable when it comes to actors, like many superhero movies are. Those movies have sort of replaced the more like artsy dramatic releases, right? What's happened because of that is we no longer are able to develop movie stars because we don't have vehicles for them to act in. Whereas before, you have a guy like Tom Cruise, put him in Risky Business, put him in Rain Man, right? Put him in a few of these A Few Good Men, like a few of these more dramatic movies, and then he can do Mission Impossible, but he's already a movie star. So he can sell Mission Impossible. Who do we have now? And I know people, there are examples like the Hemsworth boys, right? Those are bona fide movie stars, of course. But there's few and far between now. And I really do think it is interesting. Like when you look at people who are like there to sell movies, it's like still Leonardo DiCaprio. Timothy Chalamet, he broke the mold there, right? There's again, there's a couple of people, but there's not a lot of vehicles for Timothy Chalamet. And also, I don't know if Timothy Chalamet is going to be able to make the jump into action movies. I hope he does. I hope we see an action movie with Timothy. Slenderman Strikes Back. I want to see something with Timothy Chalamet where he's like doing karate only a thin man can do. You know what I mean? An action movie where Timothy Chalamet is sneaking through air vents. That would be awesome. Okay, I think I just wrote a very, very powerful new action movies, right? I think we talk about, or I think we make, here's what we do. Air Vent Assassin. It's a movie where Timothy Chalamet is a high-profile assassin, and the way he works is he sneaks through air vents. to get his victims. But yeah, I think that when it comes to thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's the I personally whatever you want is what I say. If you like Marvel movies, that's great. That's watch all the Marvel movies in the world. No judgment to you, but I do wonder how that affects the state of Hollywood because uh, there's not a lot of superhero movies where the driving force is the actor. It's usually the superhero. I like movies. I like the idea of movie stars. And goodness knows I'm never going to be one of them. So this is me talking from a removed place, but I like the idea of having a Tom Cruise, a Tom Hanks, like it, if only just to help promote and sell movies of a more dramatic nature. You know what I mean? But I think it's hard for these guys. It's hard for the Hemsworth brothers. Where's the dramatic vehicles for the Hemsworth brothers? When are we going to see the Hemsworth brothers dealing with a breakup? When are we going to see the Hemsworth divorce movie? Okay? Someone said copyright it. I'm going to copyright this. And I'm going to copyright a movie where the Hemsworth brothers sort of in like a Kramer versus Kramer situation, but it's happening simultaneously and they're both breaking up with the same, and then they have to switch. The Hemsworth brothers switch wives. I want to see that. But yeah, it is sad. I mean, honestly, like there's a giant AMC near my hotel, and usually I would be pumped about that. I would be like, hell yes, I'm gonna buy a ticket to a movie. I'm gonna stay for a second movie. All right. Hey, I hope you all understand you're listening to a podcast by a bona fide bad boy. I'm gonna stay there for a second movie. I'm gonna watch a second movie on that ass. Oh, my boot's about to get sticky because I'm watching 2 or 3 movies in a day, and I am avoiding every problem I have. Oh, you think I'm gonna write stand-up comedy? You think I'm gonna write stand-up comedy? Wrong. I'm gonna watch whatever Will Ferrell movie they shoved into my little mouth. All right, and I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna say, "Thank you, sir. Can I have some more?" AMC, somebody, oh, here we go. This is a comment. The MCU, at least the first 10 years, mostly picked up up and coming actors, no ones that had already fallen out of favor so they could keep them forever and ever. That's yeah, that's true. Like, you have our boy geez, what's his name? The guy who plays Iron Man. See, I can't even remember his name, and that's due to my ineptitude. I should know that actor's name. But yeah, they have revived careers in the past, but now it just seems like a factory. It seems like they're just looking like anybody will do. Yep, you're the Hulk now. Congratulations, have fun. It like doesn't really matter. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Doesn't really matter quite as much though for those people, and I think that's unfortunate. I think that's unfortunate. And now the Marvel movies are so like interwoven and what I don't even I'm like, "Oh, the Hulk and Iron Man are dating now." I haven't watched the movies that led up to this, so I can't really relate to it. And I'm fine with the Hulk and Iron Man kissing. In fact, a civil union between the Hulk and Iron Man, I am all for it. Okay? I want to see that. In fact, if the Marvel movies did that, I would be all for it. Eventually, they're going to run out of ideas. And that's usually when the good ideas come from, right? Necessity breeds innovation. I think eventually they're going to run out of comic books. Eventually, they're going to run out of things to talk about. And eventually, the Hulk and Iron Man are going to start kissing and hiding their love away from the rest of the superheroes. Why can't we have? All right. People are going to see the Marvel movies regardless, right? We've realized that. They're going to sell. We're going to get people in the seats. Why not have a little bit of fun? Can I ask that? Truly, why not have a little bit of fun? Why not have an entire movie where the Hulk and Iron Man start dating and it's like beautiful. You make it like a beautiful love story. They had a Guardians of the Galaxy movie where for like half the movie they're just killing otters. So I think maybe we could stomach a beautiful representation of the Hulk and Iron Man kissing and giggling. Just for one of the movies, and then they go back to fighting Thanos or whatever, right? Then we go back to fighting crime. But before then, I would like to see the Hulk and Iron Man smooching and hiding their love away, but giving each other kind of knowing looks across the table from one another. So we've copyrighted 3 movies so far on this podcast. I want to take note of it. And if anyone does these movies, I'm suing you. Air Vent Assassin, starring Timothy Chalamet. Hemsworth versus Hemsworth, the remake of Kramer versus Kramer, and a movie where the Hulk and Iron Man start kissing each other lovingly on the neck. And if you ever try to take any of those movies away from me, I will take you to court and I will take you to jail. All right? Oh, you have all the lawyers in the world. Oh, you have unlimited resources. You know what? I have unlimited time. Unlimited time. I will learn the law. Oh, you don't think you think I'll just sit in my hotel room for the rest of the day watching weird, obscure YouTube documentaries and hating myself? No. No. Safe money's on that, but no. I am going to learn the law and I am going to take you down. We got a comment. But in a way, I think they are trying to stay close to real people and erase the idea of superstars. But I don't know if it's working. And yeah, the massive production of this type of movie helps that. Okay, let's go through the options on that because that is very interesting. On one end, you could say they're getting rid of the idea of a movie star, but that actually takes power away from the actors and puts it in the hands of the studio. I give me a second on this idea because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what isn't having like a decentralized sort of motion picture community better? Isn't it better with no movie stars? The thing is, you think that the power is going to go to smaller actors, but it's not. It's just going to transfer over to the studios who can just put any actor in this role and then just kind of pump it out, right? So as soon as the actors start being like, "Oh, well, I'd like a little bit more money. I think I'm having a part in selling this vehicle." They're like, "Nope, you're done. Next guy." Bah, 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 bah. It's not good. And also, it's again, what's bad about not creating stars is stars can help sell cool, more like esoteric, independent movies. We've seen this time and time again. So it's just like, and I know people had a problem with what Scorsese said about Marvel movies. I understand that. Like, I haven't read the full thing, but I think people's criticism of it is this seems a bit elitist. But when a guy like Scorsese talks about stuff like that, I don't think you should throw it away top to bottom. And when Scorsese uses big actors like Leo, it's not for no reason. It's not just to sell, well, it is to sell tickets, but it's also to get more like his ideas, which are a little bit longer, which are a little bit more involved, onto the big screen. There's something to a movie star that isn't just vapid when it comes to the importance of films, it gets people in the seats to watch movies. And if those movie stars are discerning of which roles they take, well, then that actually benefits more open ideas. Someone said, Dan, coming to you live from a white void somewhere in the universe. My background is pretty. It's I call this purgatory chic. It's very very purgatory chic right now. But I like going to movie theaters. It's one of my favorite places, and I think it's mostly popcorn related. But I love movie theaters. I love sitting down. I love the movie screen to be in front of me. I love to watch a film top to bottom. I'm not on my phone. I'm not on my TV, which is essentially just a phone now. Most TVs are just phones. So it's nice. It's nice to sit down and focus on something. I mean, it's just a lot of the stuff in movie theaters, I gotta say, it just is not that interesting to me. I think I will see the I think it's Killers of the Flower Moon. I think I will see that probably tomorrow. And listen to me. Listen to me. I will probably also do a podcast tomorrow. This is the benefit to you folks. This is why you should buy tickets to me on the road. Not only will you get to see a show where I perform stand-up comedy, I will also have nothing to do. To a very high degree, I will have nothing to do, which means I get to sit here with all of you folks, answer your questions, look at you, and well, not look at you. Thank goodness I don't have to. And that's not because of the way you guys look. It would just give me a lot of anxiety to have to look at you while you ask me these questions. Oh, I wanted to talk about this a bit. If anyone in the comments has a Halloween costume idea for me, please let me know, because I've been playing with a few different ideas. Joe Dirt really comes to mind. Have we seen Joe Dirt, the David Spade vehicle? It's a wonderful film. It's a wonderful film about the strife of those in the middle of the country. It's a wonderful film about the strife of the working class, how they're picked on, discriminated against, hated by the bourgeoisie. It's sort of a film that requires the viewer to take a look at the world that is both political and socioeconomic. It's also a movie where David Spade gets a bunch of poop on his head. So it really does sort of hit on all cylinders. So let me know if anybody Bowie and Labyrinth. That's a fun one. I wish I could move like Bowie. You know what I realized? There's some people where their movement is the thing about them. There are certain people where the way that they move is how you distinguish them from other people. And that's very interesting to me. Mick Jagger. When you do a Mick Jagger impression, it's not just his voice, it's like the way his slinky weird body. MacGruber would be awesome too. But just throw them in the chats as they come. This person, Mark, said, "Hey Dan, I hope you have a great weekend. I had hoped to see you in Kansas City this weekend, but I can't make it. Hopefully you can make it back or perform in St. Louis." Thank you, buddy. Yeah, this is my first foray into going on tour and stuff. So, one of the things that bums me out is when people are like, you're coming to my city, but I can't see it. I hopefully will be back, at some point soon. It's kind of hard because for me to come back, I feel like I have to sort of, have at least a good new chunk of time to do for people, because I don't want people to keep coming back and watching me do the same material. But I'm also going to be in Springfield, Missouri on Sunday doing a show, and if you guys are around for that, please check it out. But yeah, thanks, buddy. Listen, I appreciate the messages, and by the way, folks, I always appreciate the messages, even if I don't respond to them. If you're like, I want you to come to this city, that feels good. It feels really nice for people to say stuff like that. You know what would feel bad is if you were like, don't ever come to Minneapolis because I'm already going to Minneapolis. So that would make that those comments would probably make me feel bad. But if you're like, come to Minneapolis, even if I can't, feels good. Feels good. By the way, the Midwest, I never, I never thought I'd make it out here, kids. I never thought a small town boy like me living in Los Angeles, California would make it out to the big cities like Springfield, Missouri. But I do really love it. It's very nice because to be honest, letting you in on my dumb little brain. When you perform in LA for long enough, you get nervous. You're like, man, I hope I can connect to people in other places because I wasn't really getting shows out of the state. And when I did, I would lose money like every time I would leave the state. So I couldn't do it that often. But now that I am, it's very cool to go to different places and to kind of honestly build my confidence in this way. Now, I'm not saying I'm God's gift to earth. Okay. But the shows have been going good. I've actually really, really liked the way the shows have been going. I've only had one show where I didn't feel great about it, but at the end, people still seemed pretty happy with the performance. So that was great. And yeah, man, because I went to the club last night because the club owner here, Kansas City Comedy Club, really, really nice guy. It's a cool club. It's a cool place to see comedy. And I like that the place I'm performing only has a 1 drink minimum, which is cool. Clubs will generally give a minimum amount of drinks people need to buy, and a lot of times you can just buy water. So that's very cool of them because a lot of times it's a 2 drink minimum. But the guy who owns the club, very cool guy. And I landed here at like 5 p.m. and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come and do a show at the club tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So show up, and I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I'm like, I've never been to Kansas City. I don't know how people here are gonna like me. You know, what if they think I'm a loser? What if they think I'm an LA loser with my dumb fake Silver Lake mustache and my dumb fugazi mullet, right? And then I got to the club and I saw the comics performing were really good. They were really, really funny. And that made me more nervous because I was like, oh God, these people are good. These people are really these people are really great. But then I got up and I started my set and people started laughing. And man, it means so much when you're nervous and you think people are gonna chase you with pitchforks. It's not like I'm saying anything that uh you know out of line on stage, but just it might be crickets. I'm at some point I'll get over the fear that it'll just be crickets, but it's a long road. It's a long road, folks. But I get afraid. I get really afraid when I get on stage that it's going to be crickets, and every time it's not, I think it just builds your confidence a little bit. It lets you learn how confidence actually builds because we think of confidence as this thing where it's like either you have it or you don't. We see it as this innate quality. Some people do seem to have it innately, and those people also kind of tend to be crazy. So maybe don't measure yourself off of those people. Maybe measure it more based on you, right? But you learn when you do something for long enough, it doesn't matter what you're pursuing. I think you learn confidence is actually just a learnable skill, but you need to learn it. It's not just this thing that goes on and off. It's this thing like, when you shoot a basketball, you're going to stink at it at first. And if you keep shooting for long enough, if you're like me, you don't get any better, but some people do. Some people do. And it feels nice. Oh, we got a costume idea. Costume idea. Whistle dolphin short. What's a dolphin short? Sports bra / athletic top. Generous slouch socks and white high tops. Carry a sports ball for sports. You need a little more volume in your hair, but congrats. You're my confusing androgynous elementary school gym teacher. This is Stein, that's a very funny comment. I like that a lot. So your gym teacher wore uh wore all of that. They wore white dolphin shorts, a sports bra, and a generous slouch socks. You know what? Salute to your gym teacher. Salute to your beautiful androgynous gym teacher. We need, that's always nice when someone, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or non-binary. Seeing a confusing, hot, androgynous person, I think it's good for your psyche. I think it's good for opening and expanding your mind. It's nice. Sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes somebody will walk in and I'm like, I don't know what gender, but I like it. And then, you'll start judging yourself, and that's okay, but before that, those voices come, you go, I don't know. I don't know, but yes. It's good to have a figure like that in your formative years. This one said, has anyone suggested Danimals yet? Which no one has suggested that. That's a good suggestion. Also, I have once again, and I'm going to do this plug very quickly before we get into questions. The Patreon is in the link tree. If you just go to the link, you scroll down to Patreon. For $5 a month, you have access to a number of I don't know what the number is, but it's definitely more than like 20 or 30 premium exclusive episodes of Danswers. What you also get with the Patreon is you get exclusive ability to ask questions. So if you have a long question, if you really want your question to be answered and addressed on the podcast, you can send it to me on Patreon. I will get to. I know a lot of the times because the chat gets so busy, I can't get to certain questions. I always try to. But if you want that, just subscribe to the Patreon. You know what? You can unsubscribe right away. I shouldn't tell people that. I shouldn't tell people they can unsubscribe from the Patreon right away if they want to, but you know what? You can, and I'm not gonna get in the way of that. How about that? How about screw commerce for a second? How about we just get real? You can subscribe for $5, cancel it immediately, get a month worth of episodes, and then dip out. If you like it, you can stay. You might not. You might not. I would be such a bad used car salesman. Yeah, it's a Toyota Corolla. It's fine. It's okay. It's not the best car. Certainly not the best car. Where are you going? Come back. Ooh, this is interesting. What's the difference between gunshots in a rural area and gunshots in a gunshots in a rural area versus gunshots in an urban or suburban area? Okay, let's go through all three. Gunshots in urban area at all times, scary. But especially in urban areas, you're gonna come up with reasons why it's not a gunshot, right? You'll hear a gunshot, you'll kind of know it's a gunshot, but then you'll be like, what if it was fireworks? What if it was a car crash? What if it was the wind? Because you don't want to admit and regret the fact that you jumped at a cheap apartment in Los Angeles, California, and now you're kind of stuck. Rent's rising, and you're kind of locked in at a lower rate than most people, and you have to kind of just ride the lightning on that. Okay, so that's gunshots in a urban area. Gunshots in a suburban area, those go either way. Those are more you have to listen for the amount. Because there's a lot of disgruntled people in the suburbs. I don't know if you've ever lived in the suburbs. It's one of the most hectic. It's crazier than most rural areas, the suburbs, because it's just densely populated enough for people to start like building resentments, right? People really build resentment. So in the suburbs, it goes both ways. It might be people hunting. It might be the survivalist guy that, made a bunch of money with a hedge fund and then moved out of the city, moved next to you and decided, "You know what? I'm actually Daniel Boone now." Yeah, sure. I grew up in the nicer part of New York my whole life, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move upstate and get an arsenal. Because I really didn't have a lot else to do with my life. After the money was made, after I realized it was sort of a hollow endeavor to make as much money as possible, not really care about the people around me, I had one of two options. I could look at my life and go, well, maybe this isn't exactly where I want to be, but I'm not going to do that. The other option is to buy as many firearms as possible and move to upstate New York. So if you live in the suburbs, it could be that guy. And the third thing, rural, back to scary, back to because depending on the time, if it's the morning, you don't even think about it. Morning or afternoon, it's hunters. It's obvious, definitely hunters. If it's not hunters, boy, whoever's coming for you is gonna get you because you're like, it's hunters. I had a friend get shot by a hunter while training cross country. I was on the track team. He was a great kid. His name was Michael Tiger, really great 800-meter runner, and he was shot in the leg by a hunter who thought he was a deer. And the egg on that hunter's face, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, was he probably upset. I think he also fled the scene of the crime. I think he probably shot that rifle and then heard, ow, you hit me in the leg, and then went, man, that's a smart deer. I better get out of here. Man, that is a smart deer. I better get the heck out of here. So those are the differences. This is very interesting. Um, LOL. Stuck in the Istanbul coup, we heard the machine guns was told they were fireworks. Wow. See, this is why I like keeping the live chat open because many of you have more interesting lives than me. I love doing the podcast. I love talking to you folks. I love giving you a little piece of me. But every now and again, someone will comment, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I keep the chat open because I want to hear from you. You're in the Istanbul coup, and you heard machine guns and were told they were fireworks. That must have been a little bit confusing. If you had any follow-up questions, I feel like that story would kind of crumble. Such as, well, why do those firecrackers go off continuously for 3.5 hours? And your parents have to be like, it's a really long string of firecrackers, son. It's, well, son, shut up. Okay? How about we stop asking questions and we start lighting those candles so mommy can start making dinner? Okay? I assume it would be a lot of that. You see parents here in America get frustrated at their children because they're asking questions about like the moon. Must be a little extra stank on those concerns when your kid is asking why is there machine gun fire outside. I wonder if those parents get annoyed with their kids in the same way. If they're like, I don't know, just get just get on. Can you just get on your book that you're pretending it's an iPad right now? Please? Please? Can you please pick up that chalkboard that you're pretending is an iPad right now? And just leave me alone for a goddamn second. Oh, you were an adult in that situation. That's good. Thank you for the follow-up. Luckily, your kid was asleep when the bombs went off. You know? Yeah. Lucky you. Again, your kid probably had a few questions when he woke up, right? Mom, Dad, what is all that debris outside? Well, son, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, sometimes they make rubble. Sometimes they create rubble outside of the apartment. What's rubble? You'll learn when you're older, okay? Oh, I would just want to clarify because someone added this. Jay said, living somewhere with gun sounds terrifying. Are you in a constant state of fear? The area that I live in actually isn't that bad. I have heard gunshots once, but it was a really weird freak occurrence. It wasn't like it's like a pretty densely populated urban area, but it's not that bad. Truly, I joke. It's not like the greatest, but I don't complain. I love living in Los Angeles. I want to make that very clear to people. I think a lot of people are very bearish about Los Angeles. I love living there. But right now I'm in Kansas City, and later on I will be in Minneapolis, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Cleveland. So get your tickets. Seattle too. Please get your tickets in the link. Join the Patreon in the link. I'll be doing a Patreon episode either today or tomorrow, so you can enjoy that. And if not, keep enjoying these free episodes. Thank you for joining me. This is a fun little break in my day, and I hope everybody here